What up, YouTube? I am your host, Video Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with yet one more video. All right, guys, let's get into this discussion here today. Are single people happy? This comes from Anthony O'Neill. I've done one other reaction to this young brother before. It was more financially focused channel. I think it was him speaking about a date that he was asked to go on to spend above his budget and the disrespect that she showed. Fantastic video. Matter of fact, I'll leave a link to that last video back down in the description box. Anyway, much different video topic today. Looks like he went down the dating avenue with a group of people. I think this is going to be a fun one to react to. Without further ado,
where would you say you're at in this single life? 10, you good. You ain't even thinking about marriage. 1 is, oh no, I'm done. On a scale 1 to 10, 10, I am happy. I don't want to, I'm not even thinking about marriage right now. I'm just great where I am. 1 is, I'm not. I'm ready.
I think I'm at a 7. No, I know I'm at a 7. I'm gonna tell you why I'm at a 7.
Okay.
I'm only 23 years of age.
Yeah.
I got the world in front of me.
Yeah.
Right. I would love to, share that with someone, but not yet. That's why I'm at a 7. I feel like me going through our life, trying to find purpose is more important for me, and then that woman to just be along that path that God has already built. So you gotta patiently wait. So that's what I'm doing.
fantastic answer, you young scholar. You know what I mean? Actually, when he said I think he said he's 23. He looked a little bit older than 23. But I love the answer about being able to follow your purpose, especially at 23. Your mind should be wholly and truly focused as a young man in figuring out your why, your meaning in life. Absolutely. That number was really high, though, my G. I think to say that you focus within it, but then you're still at a 7, still means to me that, you are still, you're willing to form and shift if one came around that, at least met some minimum requirements and standards for yourself. Keep focused, my G. Let me answer this as well for myself. I am 35 years old right now. In terms of marriage, I'd be at a 10. Okay, I am good where I'm at in terms of marriage. However, to find an ace boom coon, you know what I mean? A relationship of someone who meets my incredibly high and probably unattainable standards, I'd probably say that's about an 8. I say that's probably about an 8 or 9. Why, do you ask? Because as I've been getting older, the time that I spend for things outside of, the pursuit of viscosity or, the mixing and the mingling, it's just not where it was when I was back in my 20s. I've noticed as I've been getting older, I've beginning to value my Saturdays and Sunday mornings way more than what I'm doing on a Friday or Saturday night. You feel me? All right, let's keep on rolling.
I'm at a 7 for the simple fact of I'm 35. I'm at that point now where I'm in my purpose. And it's like when you going towards your purpose, man, it just feels right. If I know I'm walking on my purpose and everything from jobs and all this stuff is falling in place, who's to say God ain't gonna just drop her and punch me in the face? And next thing I know, all right, I guess I'll get married today because you know it. You know what I'm saying?
Man said, I guess.
Like, you know it.
Right.
I mean, so that's why I'm saying a 7. Like, I'm good, but if that perfect person drops in, because at 35, you kind of got an idea of what you want to tolerate.
I will hope so.
You know what I'm saying?
What you want to tolerate? My Lord. It was funny when Judah said he was trying to figure out what he could tolerate in his partner who he ends up with and his wife. I just thought, man, that's such a funny word to use. It's been so interesting to listen to the men talk about stepping into that relationship. I don't know that I'd ever thought of that word of the man I'm looking for is who I can tolerate.
That's just one of the key differences between men and women. You know what I'm saying? That's because men know what they're going to be giving up on their pursuit of happiness and attaining the things that they were attaining in their life. And that then at some point, in order to get a feminine, nurturing woman, you have to do so with the most amount of positive attributes that you could fit into your life, but then also know that you have to deal with an emotional being, right? So it's on the flip side, it's like of the things that you're willing to tolerate. And I thought it was interesting the way that he framed that, the way that he phrased that was in a sense of, you know, when you find that perfect person, but then someone that you're willing to tolerate. He said that like within the same sentence. So I thought that was a really interesting, you could tell he's probably had a lot of life experiences. But at the same time, he said, "Oh, I'm just gonna decide to get married one day." I don't know if you just stumble into that decision. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you look at all the data and statistics as we go over on this channel, time and time again. You understand me? All right, let's move on.
I'm at a 10. I love my life. I love what I do. I'm so content. I'm so happy. And I want to be married. Like, I don't think those have to be mutually exclusive.
Right.
I'm very content, but of course I would like to be married.
But I'm looking for you're happy. Are you happy? Are you happy in your life as it is now, or do you think someone accompanying you will make it that much better?
She just real quick. She's not. That was actually a very slick way of avoiding the question. She knows the question. She knew what the question was, but she said a 10 as to say, no, I'm happy in this current situation. But what that also might be is, you know, a self-defense mechanism for her to not have to admit that she doesn't like this single status that she's currently in, but she has fulfillment or happiness into it as what has been prescribed to her or told to her being a, you know, single independent woman. But I think deep down she knows that she would like the validation of that lifetime commitment.
I can rock with that.
Yeah.
I still think she ain't the 10, but I can rock with that.
Here's what I can tell about Anthony, or what I think I can tell by Anthony. He likes the facts. He likes data, as you would say. And I'm all for that. I love having the facts as well. However, I do want to be married. And I know that a husband will add a lot to my life, in the same that any relationship can add a lot to my life.
You know, I always think it's like hilarious, like how a lot of people, it's almost nuanced to try to quantify things for people. An example of that is when I did a video asking or debating someone else, and when I said, you know, I don't think that being a stay-at-home mother is a particularly hard job, and the question that I asked the person sitting next to me, the young lady sitting next to me, is that if you could quantify that job per kid, how much would you give them per year? Because then we have a purely quantitatively focused answer to the question of what values do they derive. Now, there's a lot of people that just would say like, yo, my mother raised me the best that she could, and look how I turned out. So I'd pay like $1 million. And, you know, it's hard to debate and answer on that. It interjects a smoke screen to not allow you to try to quantify something, which might be difficult to think about. But I think once you put measurements in front of things, then you really get to the crux of the problem or the issue. You see what I'm saying? Let's move on.
I'm gonna say a 7.
Okay.
I'm not at 10 yet.
Okay.
I feel like a 10 is complete contentment. I am at a place where I'm almost content, but it's that the desire sometimes is it overrides my contentment. So, but then the other thing is, I do not want to rush into something and end up regretting it, and then I'm stuck. So because of almost like the fear of God with that, I'm like, oh no, I'm all right, because I've seen enough situations where it's great and then seen enough where it's not great. And it's because of the fact that they rushed and they were lonely and they got into something. So that keeps me in a place where I'm like, all right, well, I'm willing for you to work this out, Lord, because obviously I picked wrong. So, you know.
That was an interesting response. I think it was interesting for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it sounds like she says she's at a 7, but she's trying to get to a 10, which means she's in the single life, but she is not as happy within it. But as she's getting older, she's trying to settle into happiness of being single. So I take that with an idea of, well, you probably should not be getting more content with that because it'll get harder for you the older that you are. So what are the things that you are currently doing that are getting you closer to that goal, right? Or not closer to that goal? Like, where are the places that you're going to? What's the energy that you have around you? What type of dudes are you choosing, right? And all these kind of different things within that. But I also commend her for the way that she explained that, you know, she is potentially fearful of getting into something that is gonna bite her in the ass later on because she won't be happy with the situation. And I say that I like that she mentioned that because far too often on this channel, when I talk about, I'm looking at the data and the statistics of marriage, and this is what I'm seeing. I got all these examples of married men that are verbally telling me, don't do it, reconsider, some litter. You see what I'm saying? But she said is a lot of people, if she was a man, might shame her into, oh, but you fearful though? You fearful though? But I think that she's taking a logical approach and looking at the information and saying, well, I'm going to wait for someone who meets the criteria. But hopefully she's doing her due diligence in order to be selectable. All right, let's move on.
What's so funny is, out of everyone saying it's a loaded question, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm a 2. I would say probably like a 2, maybe low end 2, high end 1+.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I'm with you as well. I have joy. I love the fact that I can get up and go travel the world and go speak and do what I want to do when I want to do it. I will drop all of that to build a family. So what are we missing?
So it seems like his motivation is family. He's the first one that brought up family within that. To each his own, brother. To each his own. He said he would drop all of that to build a family. We're all built differently. You see what I'm saying? Let me touch on this real quick. Listen, I think back to the impact that my pops has had on my life, and I do think like at some point one day, right, I would want to have that impact in raising a child, a legacy into the future, right? I am also in the same veins at 35 years old right now where I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to drop everything, right? I still have a lot to go. I saw the young brother said it before that he's already found his purpose. And I think it's not about finding your purpose, bro. I think it's about finding your purpose and then being the best at what it is and what you do. And although you can do that while building a family, you have far less time. And there's nothing wrong with the two, right? Whether or not you decide to do it with a family or you go 100% full steam ahead and you're not even looking back. What I do know is that the ones who have built companies, industries, the biggest innovators of our time, these were not the most family-oriented people. They were not, okay? You might find one or two examples. Put it down in there, all right? I'm thinking of a whole entire list. I'm not gonna get any names. I'm not gonna shout out any names right now. But these were workhorses. The family might have suffered because of that, but they were absolutely, positively workhorses. 80 to 100 hour per week type people, consistently, week after week, okay? Their home life might have suffered, but it's the sacrifice that they made in order to establish their purpose in life. You see what I'm saying? So to each his own. Listen, I'm gonna not wrap up the rest of this video because I want you guys to go over there and watch the full video in its completeness. I probably chopped up a bunch of different portions in this as well during the editing process, but I just want to give you guys a sneak peek into this content. I think this is fantastic content as well. I'm gonna have to double back. I think this is actually a whole series. Awesome. Dope things to be able to talk about. Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Got a Patreon as well. Feel free to go up there and subscribe to the Inner Circle. All right? We got a lot of things happening on the back end here. All right? And the Inner Family knows all about them. Till next time, YouTube.